What's up, everyone? My name is Nelson, coming to you from the top of Chicago, Illinois, and you're watching the Game Flow Report. And we had an AFC rivalry game on Thursday night between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's go ahead and get started with these two veteran QBs, these two Super Bowl winning QBs. Joe Flacco coming into the Bengals locker room 2 weeks ago, replacing Jake Browning, 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers with the Pittsburgh Steelers, looking like the four-time MVP that we know and love. Early on, Rodgers looking sharp, vintage, even, clean, efficient, commanding of the line, and finishing off a drive, hitting Jonnu Smith on the opening drive for a touchdown, but Cincinnati did answer. Flacco slinging it like it's 2012 to Jamar Chase. And T. Higgins, he threw a beautiful floater to Jamar Chase in the corner of the end zone. The chemistry between these two in just the 2 weeks that Flacco has been there looks incredible. You would have never guessed that Joe Flacco just flew in about 10 days ago. Cincinnati defense picking off Aaron Rodgers twice before half, one on a deep strike, one stealing it right out of the hands of DK Metcalf. Cincinnati responding to every single turnover that they got right before half. Flacco connecting to T. Higgins on a deep strike, putting the Bengals up 17-10 going into the break. The Steelers defense looked lost in early coverage, especially without consistent pressure from TJ Watt. He was missing throughout the game, only showing up in the fourth quarter, and Flacco made them pay. The Bengals did not have a running game before this game, but on Thursday night, they decided to show up with Chase Brown bulldozing anyone that comes in his way for 108 yards rushing that night. Cincinnati did go up by 10, 20 unanswered points by Cincinnati. They were up 27-17 at one point. Rodgers, though, he wasn't going down quietly, hitting the 6'7" Darnell Washington for a touchdown over the middle. He also hit Pat Freiermuth for a touchdown. The Steelers tight ends are great. You know that Aaron Rodgers is loving the games that they're playing with them. He's really good at getting them involved. That play action, they also had a great running game as well. So whenever he threw the play action, the tight ends were open right over the top of the middle linebackers. You love to see it. That is vintage Rodgers right there, manipulating the line of scrimmage, making sure that everyone is on cue. And you love to see the passion from him. He's still snappy. He's arguing with the refs. He's yelling at players. You know that he loves ball. This veteran of a player, 41 years old, you love to see it, man. You love to see it. Going back to the game, Flacco was responding to every punch that Rodgers threw. He hit Noah Fant for a touchdown over the middle. You love to see him coming back. With 2 minutes left, Rodgers hit Freiermuth again in the fourth quarter for a 68-yard touchdown. Pittsburgh responding. They're up 31-30, but Flacco, calm, cool playoff Joe. He led one drive. He hit Chase. He hit Higgins on back-to-back plays, hitting Higgins wide open, beating Jalen Ramsey, and he slides right before the end zone, making sure that they run down the clock. The Steelers did have 7 seconds left. Rodgers couldn't do anything with it. The Bengals win 33-31. Flacco finished with 31 of 47, 342 yards, 3 TDs, looking like the playoff Joe that we know and love from 2012. Jamar Chase had a career day, 16 catches for 108 yards and a TD. Chase Brown, he had 11 carries for 108 yards. Jamar Chase, as mentioned, 16 receptions for 108 yards, 1 TD. T. Higgins, 6 receptions for 96 yards, 1 TD. Noah Fant showing up to play, 4 receptions for 44 yards and 1 TD. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Rodgers was solid himself, 23-34 for 249 yards, 4 TDs, 2 picks in the first half. As mentioned, the tight ends were the star of the game. Freiermuth hauling in 111 yards for 2 TDs. But the defense was the story for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Where were they? Ramsey was looking like he was on skates on Thursday night. Could not guard Jamar Chase to save his life. And TJ Watt, where were you? You're getting paid all that money and no pressure on Flacco until the fourth quarter. Dude's 40 years old. Statue of Liberty back there. He's not moving. Okay, he did have those sweet run option plays where he took it around the corner. QB sneak, looking like a young Joe Flacco at 40. Where was the pressure? Pittsburgh, we need some answers. Okay, some of the takeaways that I had from the game today, The Bengals with Playoff Joe. What are they like for the next couple of games moving forward? Looking at their schedule, they are playing the Jets next. 0-6 Jets. That seems like a pretty easy win. Joe Flacco is familiar with the Jets. He used to play for them. So I can't see them having a problem with that. That's their next game on the 26th. Then, in beginning of November, they are playing the Bears, who are on a little bit of a hot streak after starting 0-2. Can Ben Johnson stop Flacco? We will see about that. Then they're playing the Steelers again. This time in Pittsburgh on the 16th. Then the Patriots. Then the Ravens. Then the Bills. Then the Ravens again. And then before the holidays, they are playing the Dolphins. And then right before the new year starts, they are playing the Cardinals. So assuming that it's correct that Joe Burrow will be returning around December and January, I'm seeing about 3 to 4 wins within their next 6 games. If Joe Flacco is playing like playoff Joe from 2012, that's going to be reasonable. And it looks like the AFC North isn't going through Pittsburgh so far. They looked like they were running away with the division early on, but Pittsburgh showing some weakness in their defense and unable to respond when they turn the ball over. I do think that those 2 picks that Rodgers threw in the first half were a big factor in them trying to come back from the game. It became a who's going to score last type of deal, and Cincinnati playing chess and having T. Higgins slide and not take the score, because if T. Higgins would have scored in that play in the fourth quarter, I think they would have had about a minute 30 left, and that's plenty of time for Rodgers to march down the field and put the game on ice for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was some smart play. I do want to see some more smart football coming out of Cincinnati. Switching over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, their next couple of games looks like this. They're going to be playing the Green Bay Packers next Sunday. Then they got the Colts. Then they got the Chargers. Again, as mentioned, they're going to be playing the Bengals again on the 16th of November. Then the Steelers have the Bears. They have the Bills. They have the Ravens. And then the Dolphins. And finally finishing off the year with the Lions and the Browns. So the Steelers have a lot to answer for, because a couple of these games that they have, like the Chargers, like the Bears, like the Bills, they have some strong offenses now. And if their defense can't show up, if Ramsey can't show up, if TJ Watt can't put pressure on the QB, I don't think they're going to be winning 3 or 4 of those games. Okay, Rodgers can't be throwing those picks in early on in the first half. I think that one of those picks, specifically the one that got snatched from DK Metcalf's hand, that was not on Rodgers. I think the one beforehand where he just said, screw it, I'm going to throw it to double coverage, that was on him. Rodgers isn't the same efficient, precise thrower of the ball. I don't think we're going to see another season where he throws less than 5 picks again. He might have 1 or 2 seasons left in him. We're not sure. He needs to make up his mind. But through the Steelers, he's been playing really well. We're seeing more and more flashes of the old Rodgers that we love to see. And I think that Pittsburgh was a great spot for him to land. I just worry about the defense, because Rodgers can't be over there playing hero ball like he did in 2010. He needs some support on the defensive side. But I do love to see him using his tight ends, as mentioned before. Let's go to the stats for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they themselves had a pretty efficient offense. Aaron Rodgers, as mentioned, 23 for 34, 249, 4 TDs, 2 picks. Jaylen Warren, he was the MVP for me on the offensive side for Pittsburgh. He had 16 carries for 127 yards. That alone allowed the tight ends to get open. Pat Freiermuth, 5 catches for 111 yards, 2 TDs. DK Metcalf, only 3 catches for 50 yards. Jonnu Smith, 3 receptions for 28 yards in that TD in the opening drive. And Darren Washington, that's 3 catches for 2 yards and 1 TD. What a crazy stat line for him. The big man, 6'7", looking like a center out there catching the ball. You know that Rodgers loves him when he's doing his job correctly. Some other takeaways from the game tonight. As mentioned, the offense looked efficient from Pittsburgh, but can they rally ahead and continue to dominate the AFC North? Can they make a playoff run? Will they still be above 500 with Mike Tomlin as the head coach? And as mentioned before, did Cincinnati rediscover themselves with this run game? You know, it wasn't existing before this game. Tonight they decide to show up. And with the weapons that they have around them, Higgins, Chase, and now you have Flacco throwing the ball around like nobody's business, and that run game, their defense decided to show up a little bit today. Oftentimes, the offense has to play catch up. They have to score more than the other team when the defense doesn't show up at all. So there's a lot of questions still for Cincinnati moving forward. We'll see if they're able to make a run as the Ravens and the Browns continue to drag the AFC North at the bottom. Let's see if Cincinnati can be the top two and make the playoffs. I think that Joe Flacco is doing his job in the best way that he can for a 40-year-old coming off the couch. But they have to see the Steelers again in just a couple weeks. And let's see if this was just a fluke or if Cincinnati is here to really play in the AFC North. That was Thursday Night Football. We have to enjoy watching Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco for the time that we have because they're not going to be around forever. I give it around 2 or 3 more seasons with them. True veterans of the game who love ball, who could be retired right now, but the love of the game makes us love the game even more. Thank you so much for watching the Game Flow Report. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you like. Make sure that you hit the bell so you know when we drop our latest episodes. And comment down below. What did you think of the game? What's your favorite highlight from Rodgers or Flacco? What was your favorite playoff run between Rodgers and Flacco? We could love to see these veterans play. Again, thank you so much for watching the Game Flow Report. My name is Nelson, and I'll see you in the next episode.